$200 time it got to my door. I think it cost me $178 or something like that.
Oh, I like to hit up QRZ,
including the shipping and everything, and the guy double boxed it, you know. And
oh, I know.
And
well, I bought
right,
mine,
and it was on a darn it.
The cat's fighting.
Words disappear on me
every evening.
Estate sale.
Oh, okay.
So he couldn't swear whether it worked or not, but it came on, and all the lights went, and the tube filaments came on, and that's as far as he, you know.
Yeah, I was able to. For that price, hell.
It's great.
Oh yeah. Well,
the only thing is, the box got torn up, even double boxed, and one of the knobs off the front of it that was on it when he shipped it didn't make it to me.
Wait, it must have been
Start looking around, because this is something I'm about to get into. Now, I have my own computer business. I'm actually licensed. I get to pay sales tax and all that. But I am buying a 3D printer so I can start making knobs and stuff as a side business. Because I can take a picture and I feed it in the computer and it makes the knobs.
Very nice.
My friend does that. And you know what he did? He spent $25,000 and bought a plasma CNC machine. He made that back in 8 months. He paid for a machine, and he makes lawn ornaments and does everything. All he does is, somebody wants something, he's got 1,500 patterns. Boop. Bzz, 30 bucks. And it's all profit. It's 100% profit, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because he buys everything. So that's what I want to do with the 3D printer. But look around. There are people that'll do it for a pretty darn cheap rate that can fix that. Especially that common of a radio. So you don't have to be completely out of it.
Well, and I'm not anyway, because of the knobs that are actually missing. I'm not worried about replacing them.
Okay.
You know, one's the audio gain.
Oh.
And I mean, you can grab the end of it, and that's an easy, you can't see where you are.
Well,
but big deal. You go by.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need that.
Well,
it's like, okay, I have a Yaesu FT450D. That's kind of a middle of the road entry level radio. It's new. It's $900. I bought mine for $540. That's everything shipped, double boxed in the original box. The guy that I talked to had 2 of them. One of them he bought, and this one he bought as a backup, but he never used it. When I got it, the power cable and the microphone were still in their bags because he used the power cable and mic from the other radio. So mine is just almost perfect, except he said I did mark the manual because he said I couldn't remember all this stuff. But the good thing is I have it hooked up to the computer. I don't need to remember all of it. I go click, 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 click. Because what I do is, my style is, I have a foot switch and I have a headset. It's a cheap one. I want to get a Heil someday when I grow up. But that's a very fancy headset by a guy named Bob Heil. He's an amateur radio operator, but he is a sound engineer. He did sound engineering for Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, the Stones, and he developed his own microphones. Well, since he's an amateur radio operator, he has these special, they're not cheap, but they'll last forever, and they have really excellent sound. Well, anyway, that's what I say about when I grow up. But what I do is, I have my hands on the keyboard, and what I do is, I will start going up and down. I do what's called search and pounce. I like to work DX. That is radio lingo for distance, or like people overseas, or even across the states. And when I hear somebody, and this is what I do, when I hear somebody, I'll go to it, I'll listen. When I want to talk, I'll hit the foot pedal and start talking, and then I click my mouse button. I have logging software that will pull the frequency from the radio, what mode I'm operating on, the date and the time from my computer, so I don't have to do it.
Nice.
So when I'm working in a contest, I use the N3 FJP amateur, and I registered all the software for 45 bucks. I've got the winter field day, all the state QSL parties. Anyway, that's another amateur radio operator. He started writing amateur radio software in 1997, and he's been doing it ever since. That way, I can quickly move back and forth because I like to do contests. Not everybody likes it. A lot of hams don't like it because it clutters up the bands. But it's basically, it's also called radio sport. It's where a bunch of us will get on and try to make as many contacts either in different modes, or there's a theme, or field day, or winter field day. Field day is something that's been going on for 85 years here in the United States and Canada. It's sponsored by the Amateur Radio Relay League, which is the world's largest amateur radio advocacy group, which I'm a member of. And what we do is, usually clubs or people will get together, and we will operate either outside on emergency power. It's to test how well we can set up and work outside, or in a
To
environment.
simulate an emergency.
Yeah, simulate an emergency.
That's good.
It's 24 hours, and the ARRL finally admitted it's a contest. All these years they said it was a contest. It took 85 years to say, well, it's kind of an informal contest. Duh! Let's America do it.
Yeah.
But
Bragging
what's
rights
really
again,
fun,
that's what it's all
what's
about.
really fun, you know what we should do? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Like the field day. We could do it as a group. We could do it right here. Perfect spot for, a couple of antennas. We could maybe run 2A or something.
That'll be interesting to see.
Well, okay, that translates
Interesting to do, because you'd get
Well,
you'd be
yeah.
able to get on the air and do it
Yes,
too.
because with him being a general, well, actually, no, we all operate under one call. So, hey, it'd be fun? If we were able to get this group together, we'd get a group call sign. But I think, though, in order to get one from the FCC, you got to be 501(c)(3)s. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
And
And that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, well, you know what? I did it for the
She
Johnson
just
City
stole a
Amateur Radio
stick.
Club.
Oh.
So if we ever did something like that,
I've dealt with it before because I've worked for nonprofits. quite a
okay.
bit, but
Well, you know what then? I'll let
So
you deal
Pierre,
with it.
come.
Actually, I would. You know what would be fun? If we really did get enough people got it together, it would be a good idea, because that will put up a whole nother good can of worms for us.
Yeah.
In that way. But that's neither here nor there now. But we could do something like that, and it's casual. It's fun. Now, what you do, the rules are basically, you can't set up until 2 p.m. the Friday before, because it's always held on the 4th weekend of June. And here in our time, it starts at 2 p.m. Saturday and goes until 2 p.m. Sunday.
Okay.
Now, there are people that are dead damn serious about this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay, now they have different classes. A is a club, and the number before it is the number of transmitters they have on the air at one time. Last year, when I was running field day from my house, I was what's called a 1 Delta. I used commercial power, which pings me in the contest, because if I work another 1 Delta, it doesn't count as points, because we're both using commercial power. I worked a station out of Boston. I was 36 Alpha. That means you had 36 damn radios running at once.
Wow.
With 36 antennas. And here's the thing. All of the... Oh, look. Oh, my God, I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
All the antennas had to be within 300 meters of each other, which is 100 feet.
Wow.
I don't have the... Anyway. But what's neat is, if I can get... somebody's got... I've got a vertical. I've got a Hustler. What is it? B5RTV. If I can get that vertical, we can put it out here too. The thing is it's not.
works?
It's not. That would work too. And here's the neat thing. I've done this before, and I can invite elected officials. We get points for that. We can invite the public. You hand out, things about the group. We're a non-profit group, so we can do this in the spirit of amateur radio.
Yeah.
And we can explain why we're doing what we're doing. And it doesn't have to be here. We could hold it at a park.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could.
Which
we could,
would be preferable if you're going to invite public.
I
or-
don't
Yeah.
understand why people go out in the mountains and do it. I'm like, why? You're supposed to be doing it in a public. Really, the spirit is to introduce people to amateur radio. And here's the thing. I got a buddy of mine who's an amateur radio operator. His name's Slater Teague. He's a reporter for WJHL. And I know for Tootin that if I asked him to come out here, we could have WJHL come here for our group.
I don't know about that though, because of,
Yeah.
yeah, because there was a really bad one.
Oh.
MT3 was actually invited,
Yeah.
and they ended up turning it down. And
And
what
they were
was
so glad that they turned it down.
yeah,
Yes.
because they basically made it sound like an evil group and overthrow.
Okay, well, we don't have to do that then, but
Evil.
for other amateur radio
Yeah.
clubs, there's nothing
Gun-toting
that says
rednecks.
if we didn't get enough people, if we didn't get enough people, we could start our own amateur radio club. Because let me tell you, the ones around here that I've dealt with suck.
And that is,
and not in a good way.
That's just my personal goal, is I would like to see half of us get our technician licenses.
And if anybody wanted to get up to general,
oh, that's great. But I mean,
yeah,
I'm setting the bar, which is kind of high actually.
It is,
asking
it is,
for 50%, but tech is so easy to get that anybody that wants it can get it.
It's 35 questions, and you can miss up to what, 7 or 8 questions? I think 7.
7.
You can miss up to 7 questions out of 35. So you can miss what?
And if you've gotten the book or gone online and looked at all the questions and the correct answers and gone over them a few times,
where's my 300 Savage one I needed?
It's not that hard. Well, we got one last thing that you and I talked about some, but we haven't really covered, and that's antennas.
Okay.
And this is an HF antenna. It's one of the cheapest HF antennas for that radio that you could get. But it requires 2 good-sized trees or something, and it will communicate out very well.
Okay.
But you do need a matcher to work on it if you want to work different frequencies, because you can cut a dipole for a specific frequency. Some people that, like me, when I go out and operate in the woods, I have a 20 meter that I cut, and I have a 40 meter that I cut. So if I want to change frequencies, I literally have to hang another. Sophia is just getting it all out tonight.
Yep.
Oh, she probably needs this like every day, you know.
Oh, she does.
See, that's why you got to convince Kim to move out and get yourself, you know, be like the song, you know. Gonna go out to the country and pick myself some peaches, you know. Hey, listen, there's a lot of places I see for sale up and down 75 constantly. There's a place out there for 85 acres, and the guy only wants $175,000 for 80 acres.